you.
But we've learned after having a couple of these that people feel kind of locked in their seats, and there's all these like amazing like Kyritos over here. So please feel free, especially with May. I feel like you're such a casual creature. Like, please feel free to get up and get water or black bean brownies. You literally need to stash one in your purse. Super important. Yeah. But feel free to kind of get up whenever.
Like sweeping them into your bag.
Yeah. Casual.
But that's true in general. And get up and play with products too. And no, it's super intimidating to open testers and put your hands in everything. And that's why they're here, and it's why I'm here. I really want you to feel comfortable playing and talking. This kind of thing freaks me out, just to be super straightforward.
You won't be able to tell, but
I'm the biggest hermit, and for me to leave my house is a big deal. And I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. And I'll say that a bunch, I'm sure. But don't be scared to come up and interact and see everything. And these are my incredible, lovely ladies. And they're my family. It's really good timing. I had team members coming from out of town. But yeah, to her point, don't let that go to waste. I'll be really upset. And don't let this moment where you have full reign of this store to play, not just with my products, but with everything here that's so yummy. You're not locked to the chair. Neither am I. I might run.
So we're going to talk for a little bit so I can grill you about all the beautiful things that you do. But we're going to chat for a little bit, and then her team's going to demo some of her beautiful products. And we'll have some opportunities for questions kind of during the demo portion of things. But if you guys have any questions at any time, it's super casual, so just feel free to shout out. But let's see, since we've just started rolling again, I'll kind of introduce once again. So we're here at the Detox Market, obviously, on Montana. Our Talkboard team is super excited about this new location because it's very close to our headquarters. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, in LA, that means everything, the proximity to where you already started out. So we're super excited about this location. We're like actually popping in here on the weekends and shopping here more than ever before with the other locations. So super exciting. And this is actually our final of the spring series, and there's really no better person to end with than May Lindstrom. So May, you know this, but you're such a classic chalkboard brand in my mind. May Lindstrom's brand, we'll kind of get into it, but I feel like your brand is one of the most exciting brands that we have really started to see when we started the chalkboard about 5 years ago. Beauty products that were made so intentionally, so clean, but were still really luxurious and really exciting, really beautifully packaged. That's kind of our secret sauce where, things start to collide and get really exciting. It's what our readers really respond to, and it's what I really get excited about as an editor. And I was just saying this to you earlier, but an exciting thing to kind of look at when I look at our little micro series, we've been here with Sun Potion, who makes all kinds of herbs and adaptogens, and they're very like hippy dippy in the best possible way. And then RMS, not long ago, who's such kind of a classic beauty and fashion character. Yeah, such a character, and then an amazing brand. And then here with you, all three of these brands are so authentic, so stylish, and I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm excited.
I'm just going to use this time to catch up with May Lindstrom, honestly.
I know,
because it's been a while.
Don't mind us at all.
Let's just start off by telling everyone that you've spent the last 48 hours naked in the shower covered in your products.
We're just going to go there
for a photo shoot. That's so May Lindstrom.
It is. It was funny. Thanks for that.
I know. Sorry, I'm really unprepared in front of people, but
we didn't.
That is so May Lindstrom. I'm sure as you all are, like a little bit familiar with the brand.
Skin is in the name. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Okay, it is my fault. I named it. You can't plan a wardrobe for a skin shoot. There's just not.
There's no way.
We were talking about this actually on the drive over here, so this is a funny way for that to come up. But it's the thing we all have in common. And so I was getting into the debate with my husband last night because he always wants to see more pictures of me doing this.
I understand.
And I don't. I want to take pictures that make you want to dive into what I'm doing, to make you experience it for yourself, so you can live in these textures and these scents and these feelings, this moment that I want to invoke in you, whether you're using the products, or you're just aspiring to feeling this way because it's such a beautiful, joyous way to be. And so we have that debate. And then the last few days we've been shooting content for our website, trying to find more ways to deepen the education, deepen the experience, make it a more beautiful process for you digitally, which is tricky because I just want you to touch everything. And you can't find a wardrobe for this. There's no wardrobe for it. And that's because I don't want you thinking about clothes, because it's not about clothes. And then you have to design for that certain woman, that certain look. And it's not that. What we all have in common is our skin. That's what brings us all here. It's what bonds us together. And that's what it's about. So therefore, I got to live in just my skin for the last few days, shooting all kinds of
Beautiful
glorious content
products.
from you, somewhere between what my husband wants and what I want.
Appropriate.
He is my partner in all kinds of crimes. So,
well, let's go back. So we kind of dived in at a funny angle.
it's a good angle. Thanks for the icebreaker.
No, I love it. But let's go back to the beginning, because I think it's always so interesting to hear from people, founders, about their kind of origin story. With you, I know that you had a modeling career, but what first got you into like natural living or into beauty? I mean, how did it all start to come together?
My passion is food. We can skip the modeling altogether. That was an accidental career. It's fine. It was great. Learned a lot.
Yeah.
It's not where I come from. This is not a model brand. And that's usually the first thing I try and X off anyone's interview questions, so we should have prepped.
Yeah.
My passion, my heart is food, which really comes into play in everything that I do now. It's all about ingredients. The biggest thing that we do, the most important thing that we do, besides this message of love and care and intimacy, is about ingredient sourcing. It's not as simple as I can go find some vanilla on the market, so can all of you. What I do is go even further and find the best of the best of the best of the best and the freshest, and I get it here and I don't mess with it, and I let it be what it is and all the magic that comes from that plant, and that's incredibly important to me. And so there's that. And
yeah,
I
so
come
that first
from-
started culinarily.
Yeah. That was my intention. I got a little distracted. My intention was to be a chef. I worked in kitchens from the time I was 13, professionally. Professional 13-year-old. But from the moment I could walk, really, I was in the kitchen, and that's where my heart is. And it all ties back together, both in terms of ingredients, but also what it does when you cook and you feed and you bring people together. It's the same thing that happens when you gather your girlfriends and you bring out your masks and your oils and you discover something and you share it with someone. It's that bonding, it's that intimacy. It's finding ways to connect in a world that is so often disconnected. And for me, that's where the heart is. And
I love that. And that's why I feel like ritual is such a big part of your brand. And it's kind of some of the visual beauty of the brand, right? With some of the dry powders and jars and the bowl and the brush. It feels like it claims that ritual feeling you get, that grounding feeling everyone talks about being at home in the kitchen and just the ritual of cooking together. I love that you made that connection. That makes so much sense. So when did you first start tapping into ingredients for beauty that start, I'm sure it kind of started in the kitchen, like you're saying. I mean, I know you have some like cacao in some of your ingredients and stuff. When did you kind of start to dabble?
Of the current 7 have cacao.
Yeah.
Actually. I didn't realize that until a minute ago.
I have a thing for this ingredient.
I have a problem. It's a good problem. It's in the various forms. But yeah, I have a problem.
So how did you first start to make that transition? Was it making DIY things for yourself? Was it falling in love with something that you were using in a culinary way that you realized had a beauty application? Or where did you start to cross over?
The crossover is always there, I think. And even now, what you feed your insides is what feeds the outside. We all know that diet is the first key to skin. I can't talk about products without talking about the rest of it.
Yeah.
And vice versa. I spend all day talking with clients about their skin and what's going on. And it usually takes a few minutes to figure out it has nothing to do with the products. And I can help you with that. I can work with you on that. And let's go a little bit deeper. Let's look at the big picture. And so I'll be the first person to take you off of the product conversation and into the rest of your life and what else is going on. and then let's come back and let's play. Because there's a lot of really good stuff there. And before is not the right word, there has to be efficacy. It has to work. It has to get results. And we'll get to that. How I started as a formulator, we'll go back in that direction of why the products work and why it's important that they do.
That's an important point, because a lot of very romantic feeling, beautiful brands are then just, they kind of throw some crystals on the bottle or, make it smell really great, and it's not an effective product. And obviously you want both. Right. You've really accomplished that.
Not opposed to crystals. There's none in my bottles.
But you know what I mean? It's so beautiful and magical, and a lot of brands kind of accomplish some of the visual magic without the real deal stuff in the bottle.
I believe in the magic as a motivator to get you to use products that work.
Yeah.
I believe that the experience should be beautiful, that the moment that you pick up that bottle should be celebratory, should feel really great, should make you want to do it. At the end of the day, I'm exhausted. The last thing that I want to do after I've put both my kids to bed and put the whole business to bed and all of the emails to bed and every other thing spinning around in my head, I don't want to go wash my face or brush my teeth or do anything else. I want to go to sleep.
No beauty chores.
Yeah. No, I do not. And I don't want it to feel like a chore. And so for me, it has to be a treat. It has to be an experience. It has to be this thing that I yearn for, that I crave, that I can't wait to close that bathroom door and tune out the rest of the world. And whether that's 30 seconds, because that's what I get before my baby cries, or my 5-year-old comes in the door, or my husband needs me, or the tea kettle is going off, or whatever is happening. I forgot about that email that was super important that was due 3 days ago. I might have 30 seconds. That's going to be the best 30 seconds of my day. If I have 5 minutes, it's going to be the best 5 minutes of my day. And if once a month I get an hour, I'm closing that door and I'm taking that hour and I'm going to take every second of it and make it mine. And so my collection has to be about that. It has to inspire that. It's incredibly important. Going back to where it came from, and why you'll come back over and over and over, because as beautiful as it is, if it's not working for your skin, if you're not seeing results, I know you're moving on. So am I. I grew up, and still have, I have very strong sensitive chemical sensitivities and reactive skin. So I have the kind of skin that if I touch the wrong thing, I get blisters, I bleed, my skin falls off. That is a fact. If any of my girlfriends who have gone shopping with me, if I go through a department store and I'm touching the clothes on the aisles, I walk out of that store and I've got blisters on my hands. So I come from that. And I sit in front of you, and I look perfectly normal now. Most of the time. I've got my moments of hormonal acne. I'm a breastfeeding mother. I still get perioral dermatitis. It's still something that I deal with. I still get patches of eczema, mostly on my hands, when I touch the things I'm not supposed to. So these are ongoing struggles for me. As an adult, and where I am in my life now, the ways that I've found to combat this, internally, externally, products, lifestyle, the whole deal, my skin is the best it's ever been at 34. But as a child, it was the most painful part of growing up. I'll try not to cry, because sometimes I do. But growing up, it was terrible. It was traumatizing. One of my first strongest memories as a 5-year-old, which my daughter is right now. Whew, sorry.
Oh, your daughter's 5, that same age. Wow.
Yeah, was going to a girlfriend's house. And we live in the country. I grew up an hour outside of town of 800 people in northern Minnesota. So very small town upbringing. I grew up just in the forest and very little interaction with other people, which is why I'm so scared of you all. And I was going to a friend's house for one of the first times, and I was having dinner with her family, and I went to go wash my hands for dinner, and I used her soap. And it was so painful that I screamed from the bathroom, and so they didn't know what was going on with me, and I was so embarrassed. But my hands just fell apart, and it started this whole cycle of fear for me around touching products, around my skin, and this thing that should be very normal, wash your hands before you eat dinner, became something I was terrified of. And I'd be in a public restroom, and there's do I use the soap and do that to myself, Or do I not wash my hands in the public restroom and forget about the germs, but also the stairs? And so these moments that are everyday, normal and everyday, become very scary for me. In moving through my childhood and into my teenage years, all my girlfriends would save up their allowance and go to Target and buy all the masks off the shelf, and they'd have sleepovers, and I couldn't participate because any of those products on my skin, I'd fall apart. And I was super shy to begin with. And so these moments of connection meant so much, and I opted out. And from that early age, I had started playing just in a play way as a child out in the woods. I grew up on 80 acres, half of which was forest and half of which was daisies at my mom's house. My dad's house. And at my mom's house, we lived in a little log cabin with a river going through my yard. So it was total country. and in both places, there was the most incredible like red clay that came from the gardens or from the river, and all these great natural ingredients everywhere to work with. And I was really into cooking, and I would bring everything in from the garden, and I would pull everything out, and I couldn't really read, but I would see the pictures in the cookbooks, and I'd put things together. And at the same time, I was putting it all over my face and all over my skin because that was fun, and it was like witchy hocus pocus moments. Yeah. And I would do that with my mom. We would go down to the river and we'd pull the clay out, and lots of great memories of that. And so this was this moment of play that as a teenager I realized I could expand on. There's a whole world of this out there, and there's actually a lot to learn besides just pulling clay out of the river. The study of plants for beauty, for wellness, goes back from the beginning of time. And what I'm doing today is not that different than what people have done forever. You can look at any part of the world all throughout history, and we're all using clays, we're all using salts, we're all using plants and honey and oils. This has gone on forever and will go on forever. And
to your point, it's like we've missed this beat where we stopped using those things, and what you can
there's
find on the shelf
gap.
misses all these
little
beautiful.
Gap.
Yeah.
When you look at the history, really the last like 50 to 100 years, and we've introduced all this other crap to the world, it's so small. And that's when so many of our skin issues came up. And so the combination of feeling really playful and just being kind of an oddball little kid in the woods and being really passionate about food and ingredients and having these extreme sensitivities very naturally led to wanting to make my own products. And as a teenager, when I could really like learn and research these histories and these ingredients and meet with people and learn from these women, I took that and started to work on my own issues. And my issues are genetic. My mom has the same skin. Her father has the same skin. It goes all the way back. And so this was nothing new for me. But in doing that, I started meeting lots of other people who had skin like mine, which was reaffirming in a lot of ways. And also meeting people who had skin not like mine, severe acne, post-radiation scars, cancer survivors.
Yeah, all kinds of sensitivities.
Burn survivors, the whole gamut. And so I started learning very specifically about plants that would work with these conditions and really heal skin. So where I come from as a formulator is that. Wow. It's the extreme side of working not just with myself, but with lots and lots of people who come from trauma. And making that good.
This is I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is such like a fascinating origin story that you will find behind almost every like great like well-performing natural brand. And it's because it comes from you. It comes from your own experience. It comes with deep intention. You're using the product yourself. And this is really the difference between, a genuine brand who's creating an incredible product and what we kind of refer to sometimes as greenwashing, where now everyone's kind of hopping into this like wonderful natural beauty space, but sometimes it looks like putting a beautiful green leaf on the same bottle of toxic soap and calling it a day. this is why, like, knowing who makes your food, who makes your beauty products, who makes your self-care products can be so empowering and so educational, and also so meaningful. I feel like even without hearing your personal story, the people who buy your brand, I mean, it does have your name on it, I suppose, but there is a little bit of a connection with you, and your story somehow does come through in your bottle. But can I just say how redemptive a story you have? How amazing that you started off with a problem that almost brings you to tears as from your childhood that now is one of your greatest accomplishments. Yeah, that's so amazing. How beautiful. I feel like that really is true of so many natural healing, beauty, like, everything we cover the chalkboard. I can't tell you how many people I've met who have their own unique story, but that has to do with their own healing crisis. They had to become natural. They had to learn to deal with this stuff, and then they created solutions for everyone else.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Especially when you're talking about that generation of founders. Like, I know you just had Rosemary here.
Yeah.
And same thing. She comes from the same time as me. I started working on these formulas for this collection specifically back in 2008, 2009. There wasn't anything like this.
There weren't
on the market. There was not.
Yeah.
There was a number of brands in Whole Foods and a few other places, but there were some natural products. There was nothing that was really high in efficacy, and there was nothing that was blow your mind beautiful. And I want to talk about that piece now that we've talked about the heavy stuff, because this is what's important to me, and this is why it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it can be distracting that it's beautiful, because you can write it off really easily as a beautiful line. It's just pretty, it's fluff, it's an indulgence. And it is, and I hope you enjoy the pretty, fluffy indulgence. But the reason that I did that is because I spent so many years focused on this place of trauma and sadness and fear and scariness, that the last thing that I wanted to do was to spend the rest of my life talking about that. I will do it every once in a while in an interview because I think it's important. But more important is what happens next. And what I want to come from this collection, and what I want for all of you, is to have these moments of joy and beauty.
Yeah.
And so when I sat down and started thinking about what it would look like for me to enter this space, and I was terrified of doing retail. Like, I am a formulator from the heart. I had no idea how to bring it to market or what that would look like, or how to figure out all the legalities and the marketing and selling, and all of that stuff just like brought me to my knees. And for years, I put off any conversations of that until every person in my life pretty much just told me to stop being an idiot. And I had to be forced into it. And
what was your first product?
Well,
was there a first, or was it a couple at a time?
Well, there's a billion first products that didn't make it here. Funny enough, the first product I designed for this collection, I made while I was working as a makeup artist, which has little to do with the history, and that was the good stuff, which always surprises people. It's not even up here. There it is.
Cool.
And this actually epitomizes why it should be beautiful. So,
can I smell this?
Yes, you should, and you should pass it around, and then you should all probably hide from anyone who you don't want to like you. So I call this my fabric-free lingerie.
Nice.
To give you a hint of where it's going. It's very sexy. I'm pretty sure it's why my husband married me.
Do you want to talk really quickly about the fragrance notes in this?
Yeah, sure. It's
super unique,
it's
right?
Cocoa, as we go.
As we've learned.
Cocoa and rose and ylang ylang and lavender and a base of really rich, gorgeous macadamia. Super beautiful, really, really sensual. And it's head to toe. You can use it in your hair, use it in your whole body. I am pretty skin focused. Everything else is really tailored to the face. And so people are always very surprised that this was the first one for the collection, because it's the lowest selling. Nobody invests in their body, even though it's all of your skin.
That's so true, right?
And that's fine. It's an indulgent piece that is there because it's too yummy not to be there.
Yeah.
But it is the epitome of this. After spending so long focused in this place of kind of dark and heavy, when I started thinking about what it would look like, to leap over that hurdle and enter retail and go, okay, I'm going to do this, I sat down and I started thinking about what it should look like and what would make you want to pick up that bottle and what it would say, and who you are to be attracted to what I'm doing. And I wanted to bottle a catalyst for ritual. I wanted to bring us back to that place of beauty and joy. I wanted to bring us together. I wanted it to be something you wanted to talk about. You should pick it up and then want to tell your girlfriends about it, because I want you to go hang out with your girlfriends and use it together. And I want you to show it to your mother and have the rituals that I shared with mine. And I want there to be this safe space for beautiful, celebratory, deep ritual with yourself, because you deserve that.
And I love that you kind of clarify that you can portion that out, right? So there's the ritual of the hour-long bath. There's also the ritual of like, I need to get my face washed before I get into bed in 2 seconds. Right. And that can still be like a beautiful moment that smells great, that feels like I'm celebrating my skin and that kind of thing. I'm so excited that we're going to demo, because it means we're going to get to see every single product. I mean, we were talking about this. Every single product is so unique and special. I mean, we've got neon blue going on, a scent you've probably never smelled in a bottle before. It's so good. But before we do, I feel like I'd be amiss to skip talking a little bit outside of product to some of those rituals, because I know, like you just said, it goes deep for you. It's not just the beauty products that you're using to keep your skin calm and glowing and feeling good. So can we talk about a few like rituals that you do beyond just the skincare, or maybe some tips? I know with sensitive skin, like you talked about, it's such like a mind-body issue. Yeah. So what is it for you, kind of having boundaries, the emotional stuff, maybe some of the nutrition stuff? Tell us some of your secret sauce.
Oh boy, that's tough. I'm still a food person.
Yeah.
That didn't go away.
I mean, is there anything that you feel like is really core to you as far as keeping your skin, really calm? And what, do you feel like it's a really emotional thing as far as like keeping your, I feel like some people's skin issues are so related to
it does trigger something.
Yeah.
For sure. And at this stage in my life, it's less. But the memories are deep. And now, especially with this chapter of my career, all I do all day long is talk to you. It's all I do, all day, every day. And so it's not just my stories ringing in my head, it's every one of yours. And my inbox gets all the heavy stuff, because that's why you come to me. You come to me for help and celebration. I get the really, really heavy, help, I'm drowning, I can't leave my house emails. And I get the thank you, you saved my life emails. And I don't get much in between. And so that's incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's one, approaching that with so much gratitude. Thank you for trusting me, for showing up, for being a part of this with me. It's mind-boggling. And also, those are the reminders for me that I have to practice it too. And when I go home at the end of an insanely long day and there's been 5 billion challenges and I can't get the ingredient and I failed a client and that shipment didn't make it and this thing went wrong and everyone's losing it, and I go home to my 2 children who need me and my husband who needs me, and no sleep and every other thing, like most people.
Average Tuesday.
What am I going to do to make it okay for me? What am I going to do with my 30 seconds that I get that night? What am I going to do with my 5 minutes that I get that day? Maybe today is the day that I ask for the hour from my husband. And learning that lesson that I can take it too. Like the mantra all day long that I say to each of you in my communications, I have to take it back.
Yeah.
And so for me, this is still my biggest thing. It didn't go away because I created this collection and now it's done.
Right.
It's a practice.
Yeah.
This is my practice. Some people have yoga or meditation or they go running. I do this. I wash my face. I use oils. I take a deep breath. Not enough. And I do it again and again and again every day. And I show up. And that's it. That's my practice.
I love that. That makes me think it's so cool because rituals in of themselves, I think of them as being things, especially with beauty, that kind of excite you and delight you, but they are actually also another chance.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing about...
Wash it clean.
Yeah.
Guys, let it go. Wash it away. There's almost nothing more powerful than that.
Yeah.
You know,
that's like a really
day
beautiful...
that's really, really gritty, you get that exfoliant on and you get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like, wipe it off. Sometimes you need to actually shed some skin to make it clear.
Yeah, and that's so true. There is that connection. I mean, it feels really amazing to get in the shower and wash off a day.
It's like when someone scratches your back really good, it's like you forget how much you need it until you do it. It's like, why didn't I do that somewhere?
Yeah.
I'm just going to become a bear. I'm going to install like a really scratchy post and spend some time on it. You know, we do things like that, and it feels good for 1 second. Then we ask you, like, why don't we repeat that all the time? Why can't we put more triggers like this in our day of the things that feed us and fuel us and make us feel good? You can. This is one of them.
Totally. Let it hang in the air. Okay, well, that is the perfect segue for us to start, demoing some of these products, which are very ritual-oriented and so seductive and fun. So, here, I'll let you sit here, actually, so you can be kind of like close to the product if you want.
Okay.
But why don't you tell us, so we're going to look at every single product, I think, and you mentioned that we're going to go through some layering, which is kind of exciting. Do you want to start by telling us the first kind of what look? These aren't really looks, right? I'm like used to like...
For the fall collection.
Yeah.
On day now, we will be showing you. Well, you get to see a special treat. You get to see the Pendulum Potion today. Ooh. Cue applause. Well, this is exciting. And I haven't launched a new product in almost 3 years, which is unheard of in this world. And any interview question that I ever get and half the emails that I get go, so what's new? What's next? And I go, I'm going to wash my face again tonight. It's going to be great. But I am not going to come up with a new product every season. Your skin does not need a new product every season. It needs a few key things that work for you, that resonate with your skin, where you are, and that changes all the time. It's a living, breathing organ, so we do have to take note and pay attention. But moving to new products every 2 weeks on a whim is difficult on most people's complexions. And we are in a time, especially with social media, where you see something and you want it and you buy it and you get it. And then you wonder why your skin's going crazy when you switch it out and then you try something else. Usually when people write me, they will tell me the 20 different things that they're using and then ask what's going wrong. So very often it's about taking it back. Anyway, that was a really long-winded way of saying the collection is concise on purpose. Every piece serves a purpose, and everything is adaptable to where you are. And you don't need all of it every day. But some days it's really fun to layer it all on together and do the full-blown ritual. So this was something that I shared, I think it was New Year's. Was it New Year's? No. It was more recent. I'm pretty sure I'm not always the best at this. But
maybe before you talk about the layering, do you want to just give an intro to this? We'll pass it around. But before they see it, I want them to know what it is.
The unofficial Pendulum Potion.
It smells so good.
This is a cleanser.
It's a cleanser. It can be used for everything. So it can multitask. It is marketed as a complete cleansing oil. And so it will remove all of your makeup and your sunscreen and your mascara and your lipstick and all of the day's troubles while it's at it. But it's a beautiful sensorial experience. And I waited forever to introduce this first step because mostly it's because people think of their first step as the throwaway. You want to use the cheapest product, get the makeup off, move on, and then move on to something beautiful. And I think that's heartbreaking. It's the first thing that's going to touch your skin. It's the first thing that's bringing you into that ritual. And it's the first thing that's going to actually make you take that pause. And we just throw it away. we throw it away with the cheapest makeup remover we can find and we toss it out. And then we wait until the very last most beautiful oil to stay, or the little pieces that we indulge in. And for me, it's such an important process, especially if you are someone who wears makeup and sunscreen and all of those things, letting this be a beautiful part of it. And so for a long time, I just kind of revolted and said, well, fine, I'm just not going to. Because I'm not going to make something that's just simple and that you're just going to throw away. It has to be an experience. That's what I do. And until I had the moment where I can't wait to get home and close that door and embrace this little beauty, it's not happening. And so I played around a lot with a lot of ingredients and a lot of different scents and textures and formulas, all different types of cleansers and makeup removers. And this is where I landed. It's simple, but it's beautiful and it's sensorial and it hits all my fun buttons. So it's about taking a breath. It's about breathing it in and coming into the moment. The scents are really about grounding, finding your feet, getting stable, and entering that ritual in the right headspace so you can enjoy every step to follow. And it will take off all your makeup.
Like.
Yeah, take you to earth.
It smells like, so like grassy and like earthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's incredible. It makes a lot of sense.
I'll pass it around, and it can stay on your skin. It's perfectly fine to leave it on. I often accidentally grab it in the shower when I think I'm going for something else. That's the trouble with these black bottles. They all look the same sometimes, even to me. And I use it head to toe. I put it in my hair. It's really, really lovely everywhere.
I was lucky enough to have the sample in
Yeah.
the Cult Beauty box,
Uh-huh.
so I have it.
Good.
But I wasn't. It doesn't remove very easily with water.
It doesn't have an emulsifier. You have to have a cloth.
Okay.
And so, and I'll talk
But
about that
sometimes I leave a
too.
little bit on, and I was worried that.
No, you
but
can totally leave it
didn't
on.
cause any-
No, it's food.
Okay, great.
So think of it like that. If there's any left over, it's food. Feed it in. It's great. And that's actually usually people's problem is they're washing it away and they're saying it's too beautiful to just wash away. Well, fine, don't wash it away. Adapt. If you feel that way, leave it. You can't mess it up, really. I mean, use it to take off your makeup so the makeup goes.
Right.
You want to put some back on? Cool. Adapt. You want to move on to your next step? Great. There doesn't have to be so many rules. When you're working with really, really good ingredients that are feeding the skin, you can't mess it up. Or you can't mess it up that much. You can mess it up a little bit. Then send me an email, we'll fix it. But yeah, so put in your palms. You breathe. I mean that.
With the oil in your hands. You can
With
really
the oil in
smell
your
it.
hands. And it really opens up. It's really powerful and grounding. Breathe, let it in. And then take some time to really enjoy a massage. And this is not a frivolous thing. There are real reasons to do it. It triggers all kinds of lymphatic response. It removes fluid, increases blood circulation, gets everything going. So that in itself is cleansing. The massage is important. Another reason why you have to make it beautiful, because you're not going to sit there and hang out. If it doesn't smell good, it doesn't feel good.
I think that is actually such a key point, because a lot of brands talk about this, like, here's our application process. And I think a lot of people kind of like, thanks so much, got the product.
Right.
But it's so, like you're saying, it's great
a
for your
waste.
immunity, it's great for your circulation in your skin.
Does everything.
Yeah.
And you can. If you've got 30 seconds and this is 5 of them, fine. Not every day is a 5-minute day. That's okay. But you have the option. It's there. And I want it to be beautiful. So massage into your skin. I am working on a cloth. That's an unreleased little bit of information. This is not it. Here's another reason why I didn't come up with this for a long time. I wanted to launch it simultaneous to the cloth that I'm working on, because most of you have washcloths that are way too abrasive to be used every day. Way too abrasive. I have not met a washcloth that I want to use every day yet, which is why I have to figure out how to make one.
Oh, I would love that. You really should.
So I am on it. We are close. Don't worry.
It's a real
It's
need.
coming. It is definitely a need. Because when you are doing that, and then you're following it with whatever other 10 steps of products I know you're still going to do, it's way too much stimulation. And so begrudgingly, I will introduce the Pendulum Potion before the cloth, and I ask you to be gentle with yourself. The point here is actually the steam. And so massage in the oil, And then you'll take a cloth, hot water. You really want it to be nice and warm. Press it into your face, allowing the oils to meld with your own oils, pulling out any of the debris from the day, any of the environmental pollutants, any of the stuff that's in the air, your own overactive oil production or underactive, feeding everything back in as you take it out. Sweep it away, light strokes. Again, this does not have to be intense. You're just removing the oil and the day's grime along with it. Then you rinse with water, preferably. She does not have a sink. Totally okay that she didn't, because she could be done right now. This could be it. This could be her one step. So if you have a 10-second night, one step, and you can take it all the way down your neck if you want to. So moving from that, we'll move on from the Pendulum Potion. I will get that cloth for you. I promise it will be the best thing you've ever put on your face.
There's really not a great one yet, so that's exciting.
There's not.
Can I say
No,
too?
I've got hundreds of them. No, they're terrible. They're all terrible. They either mold or they're just, they're super harsh.
So I know this is a new product.
Thank you.
Oh, great. But what do you think? I feel like that kind of ritual, the cleansing oil with the steam, is actually like a really great step for someone who has troubled skin and is starting a new journey, like who's ready to like reset their skin, kind of heal their skin if it's really in a bad place. Yeah. Don't you think? Because I feel like we kind of go to masks first. Like, oh, I have problem skin, so I'm going to like mask it away.
Depends.
But I feel like the oil cleanser and the steam. Yeah, what do you think?
It really depends. And part of it depends on the cloth. If you have really active acne outbreaks, I don't want you using a cloth for a while. And you should send me an email. We should talk about what's going on in your skin. Because skin is not one size fits all, or not one size fits all today. And that's really important. Every piece of this collection, every one of you can walk out with today and have great results with. But you're going to use it differently from the person next to you. And you're going to use it differently today than 6 months from now, because your skin will be different 6 months from now. And so learning to play, learning to listen to your skin, this is something that I talk about a lot, because we don't do that. We choose our ritual off of other people's Instagram inspiration, or whatever our girlfriend recommended, or whatever our mom has used forever, or whatever we picked up because it was on sale or at the place that you shop. And not because we're listening to our skin. And it's like food. And you go to a restaurant, there's the thing that you crave. I want that chocolate tort. And then there's the thing that you need. I want that giant bowl of steaming broccoli covered in olive oil and garlic, right? Both delicious. Your body will tell you what you actually need. And maybe it's that broccoli, maybe it's a steak, depending on who your body is. And our skin is not that different. There are days when one step, simple oil, a little bit of steam is it. And there are other days when you're going to need some exfoliation. You need to get rid of that dead skin so that you can start communicating with the layers underneath. And you're going to need layers of oils and balms to really feed that nutrition back in. And you might need a nice cooling mist at the end to bring it all down, because you've done a lot of stimulating. And you need to learn to listen. And mostly we don't. And so reprogramming that is really important. You have all the information. I do not. You have all the information. My job sometimes is to get you to translate that information to me so I can help you. But that's the point of that. So it can be a good step.
But I love what you said about it. Like, it kind of intuitive beauty, just like a lot of people are becoming intuitive
very
with their
often,
eating. Yeah.
The first product that I'll recommend for someone with really traumatized skin is the Blue Cocoon. Why? Because it can save your life if you have traumatized skin. It can save your life if you don't also. We'll talk about that when we get to that. Another one that is very often comes up is a problem solver. It's named that for a reason.
Yeah.
And if that's what you need, you will get incredible results with it. But it might not be your first choice. The first choice for you might be the honey mud for a completely different reason. And so,
is this the honey mud?
This is the honey mud. Okay. So we'll go on from here. No, you're gonna do it.
I'm gonna give it to you.
I thought you were gonna put it on this skin, so I was like,
totally
you have another. Can we talk about these spoons?
Yeah, those are coming.
Oh my God.
You will be able to get those. I'm all about the you will someday, right?
I'm paralyzed.
It's
so cute.
So that's real gold. locally made by artisans, as we do. I am a little over the top, and I admit it.
I love it.
But it's the only way I want to do things, and we can go off on so many tangents here. But these are the things that are important to me. Our bowl is made by a local artisan who I've now known for 10 years. I've known her. She predates my husband. She makes these by hand just for us.
They're so beautiful. Yeah.
So it's great. That also, real gold. Because why not? Absolutely. Yes.
Do you still do sets of 12?
This is the best wine vessel you will ever have. Red wine shining through that dandelion, I'm telling you, is the party pleaser of all time. You should have 12 of them. This is what dinner parties are made of. You put some ice cream in there, some fancy little chilled soup, you are a hero.
That's
and then
amazing.
later, put that chilled soup right on here. Little cucumber gazpacho to go.
Okay, so what's really the functionality of this mask?
The functionality of this mask. So one, I formulated this as a cleanser. Everyone uses it as a mask. That's fine. I changed the label this year. Now it says cleanse and mask. Made everyone happy.
So as a cleanser, you put it on wet?
Yeah. So we'll actually show this. Can I have someone else's hands? So we can show the wet and dry. Oh, hands everywhere. I need some water from someone. So if you put this onto dry skin, it looks like pudding. It maintains that pudding-like texture. It stays exactly as it is. It doesn't dry out. You could wear this all day long on a Sunday, hanging out in your pajamas and eating Cheetos forever. and it will never dry out, and you will end up with glorious skin despite the Cheetos. You could also use it as fancy. As a cleanser. Let's actually flip. Let's do it on the inside. It'll be easier. So as a cleanser, if you put it on wet skin, we're going to make a mess. It turns to milk. Totally milky, silky, not a trace of stickiness, totally different product. So if you've ever tried this and didn't understand it or know how to use it, try it the other way. So when I'm using this as a cleanser, splash the skin, get everything all nice and warm and soft and receptive, take a big dollop of it, massage it into your wet skin. It transforms instantly into a milk. It's soft, it's silky, it's luscious, it feeds everything right back in, smells insane, breathe. And then you rinse it off, you're done. You want to use it as a mask, clean skin, dry skin, smooth it on really nice and thick over the top, and it gives you this nice, gentle, cushiony hug. And it stays like that. It feels completely different. It's two products in one. They look completely not the same. I'm going to mess you up here. This is the Jasmine Garden. It has nothing to do with anything. Pretend this is water, because we'll get to that. But I want to just show you what happens if you get it wet. It's a completely different product. This, by the way, smells insane. This coming together.
I was going to say.
I recommend that you actually do that. But look how milky it is.
I love the idea of using this as a cleanser. That's amazing. So I know you don't want to be too narrow about the functionality, but as a cleanser, is for
pudding,
like what?
Milk. All right, same product, same thing. You don't have to be all fancy with the Jasmine Garden, though you should. Completely different. This, sticky, honey, great, hugging, warm, luscious. This, silky, gentle, totally different experience. So play, always play. Figure out what works for you.
Yum.
I got sidetracked. That was too much fun.
No, that's
Where
so
were we?
great. I didn't know that it could work as a cleanser, and it seems very
'Cause no one
compelling.
reads
It
the
looks like
box.
really like satisfying. Yeah.
No one reads the box. I spend all this time writing the boxes, guys.
So, but I was going to ask you what's the functionality of both? I know everyone's different, like you're saying, different days, but like, when do you use it as a cleanser? When do you use it as a mask?
Well, one, you have to use a cleanser, right? So
it's okay to use daily kind of thing.
yeah. Honey Mud, I mean, you could literally wear it like 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you'd be just fine. It's kind of a magic product in that way. Don't, because go do other things. But you can. It's really, really gentle and nice. So this one was launched on the same day as the Blue Cocoon, which we'll get to. And those two were introduced specifically to meet the needs of severely sensitive skin. So the rest of you who don't have severely sensitive skin can just enjoy it as this beautiful, luscious treat. For those that do have skin like mine, it's heaven, because traditional cleansers will strip away your natural oils and wreak all kinds of havoc. And most of the time it's just too intense and usually not that fun. And this is like putting pudding all over your face, which I really love. Great nightcap, definitely gets you to close that door at the end of the day. And feeds all the nourishment back in. And there's, besides smelling really delicious, it's loaded with antioxidants, it's loaded with raw enzymes from the honey. There's a bunch of great plant humectants and goodness, and it's just a vitamin mask, really, of all the great stuff. So if you need a gentle cleanser, this is your gentle cleanser. And sometimes it's really easy to write it off because it looks so beautiful and fancy and indulgent and all of those things. But why can't you have that every day? I don't understand why you wouldn't want to have that every day. You don't have to deprive yourself. And it doesn't take that much. When you're using it on wet skin, a pea-sized amount goes a long way. If you are wearing makeup, pair it with a soft cloth, or a konjac sponge, or something else to really sweep that away. If you're wearing really light makeup, like I don't wear foundation, so everything is really pretty minimal, I don't need anything else. The honey mud is perfect for me. I can do that twice a day, every day, and nothing else, plus oils. And so that meets all my needs. If you are wearing makeup, I would recommend the Pendulum Potion or another cleanser that you love to remove the makeup first. Follow it with this to feed it back in. So first, take off the day. Second, feed the nourishment back in. And they can be the both, or it can serve both purposes. I will sometimes do a double cleanse, just honey mud twice. One to take it off, one to put it back in.
So you're literally going to put this on top of the honey mud now.
Yeah, so we're going to do something fun, which one of the reasons why I will discourage overuse of product is because there's so many steps usually in between. And I'm not opposed to steps because the ritual is great and taking that time is great. I'm opposed to lots and lots of rinsing and washing and overstimulating your skin. It can just be too much. And so if you're cleansing and then you're exfoliating and then you're masking, and between every one of those, you're stopping and using more cloths, it's way too much. And so for me, in order to get the full indulgence and the total full ritual and use everything on those nights when I do have a really delicious hour, I like to just put it all right on top and build this beautiful, super yummy cocoon. And so Holly is going to do it. This is important. She should have showed you guys this. The clean dirt, how to mix it to get it to the right texture. Again, you got to read the box, guys. There's directions on there with ratios that are important. So I believe in being a little bit of a mad scientist. I believe in play. I also believe in following the directions sometimes until you get it. So what's really important with both of the powder formulas, the Clean Dirt and the Problem Solver, is you use a measuring spoon. It doesn't have to be gold and fancy like this one.
A gold?
But why not? So 1 teaspoon powder. Just shy of 1 teaspoon water. So it's not, sure. Yeah. And with the cleaner, I actually like to do in my hand. And you know what? I'm going to show you in my hand just because that's life. What that looks like. I'll take that. This is your dry one. So I like to do the clean dirt in the shower because it's messy. If any of you have it, it's messy. And so it's really easy to put off using it because you don't want to make a mess. And so it doesn't end up being a part of your ritual. And this is something that if I skip this, my skin shows it. And every time I use it, I go, why didn't I do that again? It's like the back scratch. You don't have to use it every day for most people. Depending on your skin type, it can be anywhere from daily to weekly or anywhere in between. For me, it's about every second or third day. I think a really good kind of trigger for you is about as often as you need to wash your hair. And so for some people, really heavy oil production, a lot of congestion, a lot of stagnant skin, it might be daily. That's rare. Most people are more in the every 2 to 3 days, and more sensitive types, thinner skin, dehydration, more like once a week. But it's equally important for those people because you have to remove that extra layer sometimes in order to feed the goodness back in. And when you have this dead, stagnant skin sitting on top, nothing else that you put on top is going to work. So it's a really important product and an easy one to neglect because it's pain. So we want to fix that.
This one does tingle a little bit.
It does tingle a little bit, and that's totally normal. So I actually like to stand with this in the shower. So you get your teaspoon. It's a pretty good amount.
Yeah.
And the bottles are big. That's on purpose. And it's just shy of equal parts water. And if you were in the shower, I would do this under the faucet. You don't have to measure. You're going to get it after a while. I say in the beginning, use a measuring spoon so that you understand what it should look like. And then after a while, it becomes second nature. So if you're in the shower, I like to do this over my chest because all this fall off ends up being here and I can use it. And that's really helpful and handy. Also, a little bit of fall off is fine. There's plenty. But what you're looking for, you're kind of making a mousse. It should turn into this light, airy, I want to play show and tell. I'm going to make a mess. Catch that. Oops. Or that.
I'm here.
But I'm going to walk around.
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay.
It's air. It's airy and light. It's not a paste. It's not thin and gritty. It's puffy and airy. And I'm sure by the time I get to the back, it won't be puffy and airy anymore. But at least you can see it. Like, it's this airy, puffy, bubbly. It's totally different than what you'd expect. And this is really important because when you put it on your skin, it has this like cushion to it that keeps it from being abrasive. And when you don't use enough, I'll get back here so y'all can see me. When you don't use enough, when you skimp on it, a lot of people say, it's too abrasive for me, so I'm just going to use a little bit. I want to show you what happens when you use just a little bit. I'll just rub most of it off. When you use just a little bit, it's sandy. It's like a dirty watercolor. There's nothing fun about that. There's nothing sexy about that. It doesn't feel good. It still serves a purpose. You're still going to get some of the benefits because these ingredients are incredible and they'll do the work on their own whether you're massaging or not. You can just brush it on, and actually for the most sensitive skin people, that's what I recommend. Just brush it on, don't touch it, leave it for a minute, rinse it. Don't stimulate at all. Just let the ingredients do their work. Most people can actually handle a bit of massage and it's really, really good to do. Don't overdo it. Listen to your skin. Ease your way in. But the important thing is not to skimp. And that's not me trying to sell you more product. It's me telling you how to get the most out of this product. You will never come back and buy this again if you don't have a good experience. So it's really important to get the right texture. You want it to be light and airy and fluffy and moussey. And if you have extra, as you're in the shower, you're massaging it in, take it down your neck, take it down your chest. It feels unbelievable on the shoulders. And a little tip, super sexy tip, armpits. No one talks about armpits. Your deodorant stopped working, your armpits are all clogged up. Give them a moment. Makes your deodorant work better, especially when you have this fancy, fancy natural deodorants that are full of oil and full of all the gunk from the day. So you got to clean it up. So I take it all the way down to the armpits, all good. Moving on.
One side massage and one side not yet. So this
Perfect.
looks like blended.
You can also blend them together beforehand if you want to. And that's true of the honey mud in general, and we'll talk about that with the problem solver as well. But the honey mud can be blended with the clean dirt or the problem solver to create this beautiful cushy experience from the first step. So even if you're doing just one step, it can be that, which is really, really lovely. But this, when you layer them together, feels so good because you have this really gentle cocoon. You need to just come up and smell her later.
Can we walk around?
It is going to happen. But you have this protective layer.
You smell amazing.
It's fun, right?
Oh my god, that's so cute. Eskimo kiss, anybody?
Or you're welcome to this.
High five.
Yeah. Go ahead and wash off. And then, okay, next we'll talk about problem solver. Sure. I should probably tell you what that does. It's brightening. It's good for hyperpigmentation, discoloration. It's loaded with vitamin C, turmeric, clove, ginger, nutmeg, all kinds of great stimulating herbs that really get the blood circulation going. And the purpose of that is to allow your own body to do the work. I'm all about turning your body back on. A lot of skincare products are about turning your system off. They're about numbing what your skin naturally does, kind of suffocating it into a submission. That's not what I do. What I do is allow your body to stimulate your own healing system so that it works from the inside out. And sometimes that feels a little weird. It's gonna feel a little tingly, it's gonna feel a little bit warm. That's good, that's fine, your body's working. You have blood happening. Isn't that cool? If you're not feeling anything, you should maybe do some jumping jacks while you do it. Really get it flowing. But this is important to remember. Sometimes when we feel tingling or we feel heat, we think that there's something wrong. There's nothing wrong.
So even the most sensitive skin.
Especially the most sensitive skin. When I am having perioral dermatitis outbreak, the first thing that I do is go home and put on the problem solver. Mm-hmm. And if I catch it in the very, very beginning, I wake up the next morning, it's gone. If I don't, it's not. It's really simple for me. And that's not true of every person. There's always exceptions. But that is generally true. You have to turn your own system back on. And usually with perioral dermatitis, you go to the doctor and they give you steroids. And that literally is what the steroid does, is turns it off. And when you stop taking the steroid, your body has to turn back on, and then it's worse, and then you have this whole cycle. Which is fine. I'm not interested in that cycle. I've done that for a lot of years. This works much better. I like to let my body do its own work.
So interesting. Can I ask you a question on that topic? Because I feel like that's such a thing, right? Sensitive skin, you don't want to irritate it or do something too stimulating.
And you don't.
So yeah,
what's true?
Where's that fine point? That's very interesting. You're talking about like letting the circulation really get stirred up in the area that's...
There's nothing wrong with circulation. Your own blood is good. Your own oxygen is good. Too much stimulation from a washcloth, not good. Too much acids, not good. Too much retinol that I'm seeing everywhere, not good. Your own body's blood and oxygen, damn fantastic. Get out of your own way. It's not in a bottle. Sometimes the bottle is the reminder.
May's like preaching to all of us. I love it.
It's just not complicated.
No. What about your braid too? Can we have a braid lesson after this? How do I get this situation going?
Have 2 babies, let the hormones flow.
Yeah.
I swear, I never got that long before kids. Okay, problem solver. Problem solver is the greatest example of using your own immune system. And I touched on that just now, but it really is. This is the powerhouse. People come to me with rosacea, this one. And they go, are you insane? Everything I've ever read, every person says, stay away from that. Try it. Try it. It might not work for you. Stop trying it. Try it again. 1 tablespoon, a little more, plus just shy of 1 tablespoon water. Again, not complicated, and after a while, you'll be able to shake the jar and put it under the faucet and find it yourself. The reason to measure is so that you see the right texture a few times before you go, oh, I got this, and start applying thin watercolor. When you mix it the right texture, it comes together in this bubbling, fizzing mousse, which if anyone has read the box and not gotten that and gone, it's not working for me. You're not using enough. Air.
Beautiful.
And same thing if you touch this, it is puffy, puffy, puffy. It is totally, it's like a spiced chocolate mousse.
Can you show it to the camera?
And this is important to see because so often we go, oh, I've tried a powder mask before. It's supposed to be a paste. It's not. Not this one. And you get to make fun sounds when you see it really working. You're welcome to put it on. If you have something acting up, you just go for it. But you'll see it's airy, it's puffy, it's light. And that's what it should be like. And it's funny because I'll go around to our retailers and they'll go, what is that? I've never had to do that. And I go, you've been selling my products for 4 years. What are you talking about? We all need lessons. But you'll see.
These might be, you can
eat it if you want to.
Yeah. Well,
it's a little salty.
no, or like a fuzz.
You know, like it is true.
You know what? If you want to use my glasses, I don't mind.
And the other thing, when you put it on, it should look like this. Opaque. Not, you guys have a little on your fingers and you're doing this. That is not what you want that to look like. There's a huge difference in the experience between what you're getting when you do this and what you're doing when you do this. And if you've tried this and you didn't get it, try it again. It makes such a big difference. This creates this beautiful cocoon and it envelops you in this feeling and you can feel it. There's like this pulsing thing that happens when you're stimulating all this blood and oxygen to go to your cells. And if you're sensitive like me, you might be going, oh shit, is this okay? And then you rub and you scrub it off and then you're like, oh, that was too intense. Please don't rub and scrub this off ever. You step into a shower, you let it relax off of your face. It rinses away like nothing with water. So again, try and avoid the washcloths if you can, in general, as a rule. So this is one of my favorite of all time because it's one of the most impactful formulas. This was one of the original formulas from way before I decided to do a collection that I would introduce to people with severe skin conditions. I've been using this for probably 15 years. And this, along with the Blue Cocoon, have been two of the most transformative products ever that I've tried. And there's a lot of things that I've made that haven't made it to the collection. This is a powerful one. I almost didn't put it in the collection because I was scared that you'd be scared. And I did it anyway because it's too important not to. Because for the people who use this and who it works for them, those emails that I get with people saying you changed my life, it's because of this one and the Blue Cocoon. You walk out of here with two things, it's this one and the Blue Cocoon. These ones change lives. They change skin. And they feel really
it's such
good.
a great color.
And if you go on Instagram, everyone's got their problem solver mask, so. But there's a reason for it. There's a reason why it's taken off so much. And there's a lot of masks that look like this now and that have some similar ingredients and similar kind of makeup, and that happens.
Yeah.
They're not exactly the same. Try them all. See what works for you.
So good. Now, would you layer this one, or is this a little standalone guy?
You can do whatever you want. You can play. I mean, there really is so many ways to mix and match. I personally like to do once a week full strength, like this, just as it is, either mixing with water or mixing with the Jasmine Garden. I've been doing a lot lately. I've been having hormonal outbreaks from nursing. It's fun. And one of the best things to calm that down is the combination of the colloidal silver that's in the Jasmine Garden with the problem solver, and knocks it out pretty quickly. So I do once a week at full strength and once a week mixed with the honey mud, which is what I'm going to show you now. So we took some of the Problem Solver mousse, mixed it together with the honey mud.
Would that be better for more sensitive skin?
If you're more sensitive, or there will be days where you're just feeling stressed out in your skin. Like you're irritated around the nose and mouth, maybe you have a cold, you've been blowing your nose a lot, you've been in the wind or you've been in the sun, and everything just feels really intense. And you know that you need the power of the Problem Solver to address that problem, and you're scared of it. Yeah. That's when you do this. Because you still need it. You still need all that goodness to really start working through the problem. But you don't want to scare yourself in the process, and you don't want to overstimulate. And the Problem Solver is not going to overstimulate, but it will feel more intense. And sometimes that overstimulates our brains and creates a negative response, and you don't want that either. And so to make it feel really good and still get the results, you mix it with the honey mud.
Gotcha.
And full of things.
Yeah. Oh! There goes
I'm not that
mine.
good at this.
Wait, let me make sure. I'm sure this sounds amazing.
Still good?
That was a double whammy.
Sorry, am I allowed to talk to the camera? It turns into this. It's this beautiful, it's more of a thicker, richer, pudding-like thing. And what's nice about this is it's non-drying. So it won't dry out. So this is actually what I like to wear if I'm going to go into a bath. Mostly because then I don't have the Problem Solver drying out and leaving little flakes all over me in the bathtub. This will stay put. It's really nice, super convenient, and honey is an awesome humectant. So it brings in all the moisture from the air, which when you're in the bathtub, there's a lot of. So you take all the steam that's naturally happening, plus all the sweat from inside, and you keep the moisture going in. So it provides all the power of the Problem Solver with all the nourishing goodness, feed it back in, hydration of the honey mud. So it's a really, really wonderful combination, and it's so luscious feeling. So this is actually probably my favorite.
Is the combo together?
Is the combo together. That plus Jasmine Garden. All three in bed together.
With a cherry
That
on
is
top.
the combination.
Like, yeah, looks rich.
We're going to just show you a spot treatment for, we're going to show you a couple because I'm going to show you what the youth do too and the difference. So Blue Cocoon plus Problem Solver is really, really great for any kind of breakout that's painful, cystic acne, painful pimples, the active under the core, ouchy ones that are just hurting or that are starting to scar or that you know are going to leave marks, anything where you want to take away the inflammation while you're addressing the problem. So you can actually just mix that. You don't even need water. The Blue Cocoon melts into a liquid immediately upon contact with skin, creates this great paste. There you go. You can leave that on 10 minutes, an hour, overnight, doesn't matter. It's not going to dry out because of the oils from the Blue Cocoon. And what's awesome about that is you can address the breakout without it drying out your skin and creating that hole that sometimes happens when you've overly treated a pimple. So painful acne, Problem Solver plus Blue Cocoon. I'm doing the same thing with the Youth Do, which we're sold out of right now. More on that later. You should sign up for my newsletter. And the Detox Markets, of course. The Youth Do, if you have wet, active pimple, when it's just starting, when it's come to a head, when you're having oil imbalance with it, congestion with it, you combine the Problem Solver and the Youth Do together, and it helps to regulate that oil production. And same thing, keep it from drying out. But it's less about pain and more about balancing the oil. So both really handy. You can mix all three if you're having both. Again, you can't mess it up. Experiment, find what works for you and your skin. It'll be different on different days. All
I have to say, I didn't know you had so many recipes combining the different products. It's so amazing.
I
You need
have
like a
to-
master cheat sheet.
Oh no,
So,
I have this picture in my head as we're creating website content, guys, take note. I want to do like Einstein's chalkboard of theory, like all the things like, you know, problem solver plus Blue Cocoon equals this, problem solver plus this equals this. If anyone's a really great artist, if you could just make this happen for me, that would be excellent.
That'd be great.
But there are so many ways to mix and match and play and adapt to your skin. And that's always the message, is finding what works for you.
I have a question from the audience.
Yeah.
The name of the powder before this that you put on in the shower.
The Clean Dirt.
The clean dirt. Okay.
Yes. The Clean Dirt brightening exfoliant treatment. To be thorough.
Okay, so now you're gonna layer. What do we? I'm like, seems like
I think we're
we've
going
mixed
into
all
oils
the
now.
things.
Yeah, we're going to move on to the food. The food. Yeah. Is this where we get really excited?
Yes. You're gonna pass them around.
Pass it around. You can use the fancy gold artisanal spoon.
I know. Do you want to get a shot of this for Facebook Live? Check out this spoon.
Good shot. You can pick it
Okay, I'm like, don't want to drop my mic now. It's like a whole situation. Thank you so much. Okay,
up. It's non-reactive.
I think our readers know how
is the
much
point
we
of the
love a gold spoon. So
Yeah. And it's beautiful.
super pretty.
And made by a real person.
Beautiful. All right. So you're coming out with this spoon on as a little thing.
It'll happen.
So
Yeah.
fun. Okay, so Blue Cocoon. Youth dough.
So bear in mind when you're passing this around, it's a concentrate. You'll need a very small amount. And so if you put a bunch on, it's going to feel like a lot. The other thing, we should pass around the Jasmine Garden following this. Mind readers. You guys are good. Because ideally, we're going to do youth at the same time. Might as well. And it is time. I like Blue Cocoon first. And so here again, you adapt to, so pass the Jasmine Garden, because I want you to actually follow the Blue Cocoon with that, and you're going to see how much better it absorbs when you pair it with the Jasmine Garden. So ideally, after you cleanse, while your skin is still soaking wet, skipping the towel, I'm as anti-towel as I am anti-washcloth, skip the towel entirely, go directly into the Blue Cocoon, right into your skin. As soon as the balm hits your skin, it's going to turn to a fluid, wet. Not lightly misted, wet. Skip that towel, go right in. If this was Monopoly, it's like, do not stop, do not pass, go. Go directly, and that's actually really important, and you're gonna notice such a difference just that step. So you rinse, go directly into the balm, massage, again, take your time. This is the beautiful part. Really get in there, get your ears, get your neck, spend a little bit of time and breathe and really enjoy it. Massaging into that wet skin enhances absorption, and it also allows you the slip that allows you to be able to massage, again, without overstimulating or pulling or tugging or any of those things that you want to avoid to stay super duper young looking. The Blue Cocoon is my favorite of all time. If I had to pick children, this is, besides my two children, this is my other child. This is a really important one for me, for all of the skin conditions that I've worked through over the years. This is one that if I had had this as a young person, one, I probably wouldn't be here right now, because what it has done for my skin has changed everything. And so I wouldn't have gone off on this tangent of a change. But it's an incredibly powerful anti-inflammatory. And it's really all about restoring you back to your health and calming everything down. And so if you have heat and you're inflamed and you're patchy and you're red and you're pain, whether that comes from too much sun exposure or too much wind or acne, heat, pain with that, psoriasis, dermatitis, eczema, rosacea, all of those kinds of conditions, this is total magic for that. Can feel so good. And you'll know, it will feel good when you do it. You'll know when it's resonating with you. If you have beautiful, pristine angel skin and you were just born like that, cool. That's fantastic, because now we don't have to fix something before we get to the meat of it. And so for you, this is just the best, most nourishing meal that keeps you where you are. It's maintenance. It keeps you going for all the years forward, which are really important to think about too. And so sometimes you have to fix and work through the challenged skin to get to that point. And sometimes you're already there and you can just dive into the delicious experience that this is. What I love about this and what makes it dominant, clearly the color. So we're going to talk about that. One, there's no dyes in this, just to address that right off the bat. It will be different often. This comes from flowers. They are not the same every time. That's important to know. I don't add any dyes to keep this looking exactly the same every time. This might melt if you take it to the beach. That's fine. There's no synthetic stabilizers or fillers in here to make it stay exactly the same each time. Embrace it. That's normal. That's good. Why? Because I wanted every single ingredient in this jar to be exactly for your skin, to address the skin's needs, not because of aesthetics, not because I wanted to look and feel exactly the same every time. I can't recreate flowers every time exactly the same. I deal with nature. She's my boss. So you might get a jar today, this one, made in April, might look different than the one made in May, made in June, made in July, made last October when you ordered yours. And that's good, that's natural, that's normal. Blue Tansy is where this color, this scent, and this power comes from. It's the single most powerful ingredient I've ever worked with. It's all over the market right now. In theory, it's one of the most adulterated ingredients on the market. It is very difficult to source. Source is the most important thing for this ingredient. So do your research on your brands. This is my favorite ingredient of all time because of what it does for the skin. And secondarily, but not less importantly, is what it does for everything else. Blue Tansy is used in aromatherapy for stress, for anxiety, for sleep disorders, for anger management, generally for the feeling of being out of control. And in this modern world, in this time, I think that's really important because it does address those things. And simultaneous to the ritual of caring for your skin, you're caring for your center, for your soul. A little while back, I posted on Instagram a ritual about massaging the Blue Cocoon into your chest. And the response from that and the emails that I got from people who have started this practice, what it can unlock. And it's not just about this product, it's about the process of touching yourself, touching your center, and realizing that we actually don't do that almost ever. And so again, not about the product, it's about the catalyst of bringing you back to yourself and connecting with your core and your center and your skin. And hippy dippy, I'm gonna go there because it's too important.
I love it. Do it all.
This is the good stuff, guys. Breathe it in. Don't waste that. The sensory experience of this is almost as powerful as the effect that it will have on your skin. This will never die with me. And Desert Island, you can use this as a cleanser if you wanted. You could use it as a treatment mask if you wanted. You can use it as your spot treatment if you want to. You could put it head to toe if you're a total queen. Best eye treatment of all time. Nothing better for the eyes. People ask me all the time for an eye product. Guys, it's right here and it's really big.
So you leave it on?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the best. You can rub it even into lids and lashes. Like, I don't wear eye makeup anymore because I have crazy sensitive eyes and it just doesn't work for me. But for the longest time when I would try, I would get dermatitis on my eyelids and I'd get little patchy everything everywhere and my eyes would water and they'd be red and I would be battling it all the time. And I'd go home and I'd take off the mascara and the eyeshadow and I would put this on and it's gone. It's an antihistamine. Takes it away. If I test another product, which I have to do all the time. I have to know what you guys are using in order to be able to direct you.
I'm like, I need this in the office where we're testing all the new products. Yeah.
And I highly recommend it for that. Bloggers, you have to have this because you're going to have an allergic reaction to something, and this will help you. My kids, bug bites, bee stings, cuts, burns, scrapes, sunburn, windburn.
They all get the cocoon.
Shaving. Yeah. Yep. Surgery, scars, whether it's cosmetic surgery, whether it's C-section surgery, whether you've had something removed, it's a healer. It's a healer on all levels. So this is my favorite. If we had to cut the line down to one product, it's this one. It will go with me everywhere. It does go with me. I ran out of my little one that I keep in my pocket today and I almost cried. I put it in my hair, and I shouldn't tell you that because that's mean, because it's expensive. There's nothing better.
La la.
Okay. Used to. Here's your vitamin cocktail. And again, I'm not going to give away any secrets because I told all my retailers I wouldn't. Sign up for our newsletters. There's going to be information on this that you're going to want soon. This is another favorite by a lot. Use it everywhere, put it on. This is a surprise favorite for people with acne-prone skin. You see the name, you see the Youth Dew, and you go, oh, it's for maturing skin. It is. It can be. It is my number one choice for people who are battling any kind of oil imbalance, any kind of congestion, and acne specifically. It's so good for that. Anytime that I feel breakouts coming on, I will treat myself in different areas, some with the Blue Cocoon, some with the Youth Dew, often blending them together. Most of the time, I'll be honest, I layer morning and night, both of them, because I make it. I have a lot.
So why is Youth Dew so great for that type of skin?
The combination of oils are specifically chosen to balance. And not balance in a way. Sometimes you see a formula that says balancing, and what they mean is drying it out. That's not what I mean. If you have really dehydrated skin, this is going to help your natural oil production to increase to meet the needs of your skin. If you have over oily skin and you're overproducing, this will feed and nourish your skin so that you stop overproducing that sebum. So wherever you are on the spectrum, it brings you to the place of health and balance.
So it's almost like a blend that's adaptogenic.
Yeah,
really.
That's what it's about.
Wherever you need. Oh, wow.
And so same thing with the Blue Cocoon, wet skin. And this often, again, is a step that people skip. It makes a world of difference. Rinse while your skin is still warm and soft and receptive. Skip that towel. Go directly into your massage. Take your time. If you have any areas of congestion, if you have areas that are getting fine lines, wrinkles, take your time. I get this wrinkle down the middle of my forehead when I'm stressed out.
Your telltale sign.
This is my telltale sign. It tells me everything. I know when I've been eating bad and haven't been sleeping enough, or I've had too much wine, because I will get a line down the center of my forehead. Every time. It's a dead giveaway. And a few days of focused integration of the Youth Dew into my ritual, massaging that spot, it's gone. It leaves. It's magical. You can watch it. And so it works from a really powerful place as a graceful aging enhancing toolkit, but it also will help bring your natural oil production into its own rhythm. And that works on all levels for everybody. So it's a powerful one. My husband doesn't even wash his face. He's like one of those weird creatures who's just naturally gorgeous and doesn't touch soap and just exists and is fine. But after he shaves, he uses the Youth Dew. And it's made such a difference. I've watched him morph, and he wasn't admitting it at first that that's what he was doing. I smell you. But it's the singular product that he uses. This man who does not use soap steals my Youth Dew. Really, really good. Yeah, I can't really say enough about that one. Sometimes if you want to ration it, treat those areas that you're just really needing the focus on. So often for that, I'll do the Blue Cocoon everywhere because that's my medicine. I need that. And then I'll take just a couple drops of the used to, and I'll focus around the eyes, around the smile lines, or anywhere that I feel a breakout coming on. I get this here. So I will spend some time massaging and bringing life back into that area.
And will you leave it on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So excited.
Yeah. Leave it all on. Not the cleaner and the problem solver, but wash those off.
Yeah, that's great.
Honey mud too. You can wash that off. A little sticky on the pillows. But those are leave-ons. And then we finish, and this always blows people's minds, last, on top of the oils, is the Jasmine Garden. And so I do things all kinds of wonky reverse, where, yeah, go for it. Pass it around. And the nozzle works best if you're actually aggressive about it. Like, yeah, if you try and be skimpy, it's just gonna kind of drip on you and go, why bother? I just had an Eeyore voice in my head. So the Jasmine Garden is a great finisher. Normally we think of misting before our oils. We're skipping that because we're doing the wet skin. So you're not losing out on that part. You're going wet skin into the oils, finishing with the Jasmine Garden, so it actually sticks around and gets to do some work. And the Jasmine Garden works as a penetration enhancer. The ingredients allow everything else that's come before it to work better and to sink into your skin. And you can feel it. Like if you did that on top of the oils that are on you already, you'll feel it instantly change. You'll feel the oiliness in your fingers, and then it'll go away. Kind of magical. So what I love about this one, specifically, the base is silver. It's colloidal silver, and it's calming, it's soothing, it's cleansing. Silver has been used since the beginning of time to heal wounds. It was used in the battlegrounds for treating infection, and so it's one of my favorite ingredients. It's also in the honey mud, which is another reason why that one is particularly good for acne-prone skin. There's also witch hazel in this blend, and no alcohol. And usually those two go together. They don't here. It's just the beautiful, pure plants. And then loaded with 2 different types of jasmine that are incredible and so yummy and really good for the brain. And rose and all kinds of beautiful things. So it's a sensory treat. It's a really beautiful way to close out your ritual. But it's not just a pretty fluffy thing. Again, it really does serve a purpose. And when I'm feeling a breakout coming on, the Jasmine Garden is actually one of the first things that I reach for. Sometimes literally, before you get a pimple, sometimes you'll get that itch. You'll have that moment where like you can feel it, you know that it's coming. When that happens, don't touch your skin, one, because we always reach for it. Oh my God, it is there. I can feel it. You reach for the Jasmine Garden instead, and you missed it with that. And often, you can reverse it. It's kind of incredible. Keep your hands off your skin. Keep your germs off your skin. Keep that with you. I keep one at my desk. I keep one in the refrigerator. Unbelievable in the summer when it's hot. You pull that out of the refrigerator. Like in the studio, you should see our manly shipping guys reach for the Jasmine Garden on the hot days. Yeah, Emiliano, who's like our king. He is the king, and he's covered in tattoos, and he is awesome. Jasmine Garden.
That's amazing.
Problem solver on a good day.
Huh? We need more behind the scenes videos of ours. Yeah. And that can go everywhere. I like to go everywhere with that. We did talk about the good stuff, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. We passed that around already, I think, if it made it all the way around. But head to toe, don't forget, really touch everywhere. Every piece matters. Don't just focus on this. We have to carry all of us through the rest of our days. And treating it well is important.
Would you say to also do it on
Wet skin.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can do it. You can do it both ways. If I'm going on a date and I've got a short skirt on and I want my legs to look nice and glossy and shiny, dry skin. Because it'll sit a little bit more on the top. You'll see a little bit more of the shimmer. It's more of a highlight. Same thing, clavicles, shoulders, arms. Here, you can actually use it wherever. I don't skimp on ingredients just because it's for the body. This can go everywhere. Wonderful for that. For me, this is food and nutrition for my every inch. And so for me, I keep this bottle in the shower because if I don't, I'm going to forget about it or I'm going to dry off and I'll wreck it. So I keep it in the shower with me. And while I'm still soaking wet, turn off the water, fill the palms, put it together, up the legs, over the butt, over the breasts, down the arms, through the hair, 30 seconds and I'm done. And on wet skin, you don't need nearly as much because you have that water allowing it to flow. So you use way less. You get way better results because it's absorbing right in. It's not going onto your towel, it's not going onto your clothes. It goes right in. Smells insane. You're gonna be walking around, people are gonna be following you. Sorry. And then you put it through your hair. As a hair treatment, there's a number of ways you can do it. You can just put it through the ends if you have split ends, if you're breaking. If you are wearing your hair up and you want there to be no frizz, you can just comb a little bit through over the top on the flyaways. My hair, if I were to let it down, is a giant lion mane down to my waist. It's big and it's curly. I like to put it in my curls. And nights before I shampoo, I actually like to massage some into my scalp. One, nights before you shampoo, your hair is not that fresh smelling. So it brings this beauty back into that so you can go into bed feeling really beautiful. And in the morning, it will have helped balance your oil production, bring some shine into your hair, and then you wash it out with your shampoo. So really, really beautiful as a leave-in treatment too.
So basically, this is what ends up being in your shower. At least this is what's in my shower.
Yeah.
Clean dirt, good stuff, and the youth do.
And it's fine to do that. If you're using your products and they're not hanging out there for years, you're using them, you're going through them. And unless you're super careless and leaving the lid off with the water going directly into it, it's fine. You don't have to be scared of your products. You need to use them, enjoy them, and just be with them. You're going to have a much better experience if you're not all tender-footed about it all.
Amazing.
And that's it.
I like when I
That's
take the
everything.
weekend and like experience all of this, or maybe a month and just do deep beauty treatments for the
Yeah. Try for 5 minutes and do it.
Yeah.
Don't wait for when you have an hour
Yeah.
because you'll be waiting for a long time sometimes. Go home, take 5 minutes. You don't have to have anything of mine, by the way, to take this time for yourself. You can leave here with nothing. Go home and get some honey out of your cupboard and some clay out of your yard. Not really, we live in Los Angeles. But you can take these moments with whatever products you do have and that resonate with you and are working for you. And the point is to take the time for you. And if you walk away with nothing, I want you to walk away with that because that is the most important thing. I started this collection because I wanted to bottle a catalyst for this change. These bottles happen to be full of really good stuff, but it's about that catalyst. And so take that with you.
Amazing. I feel like you've painted such a complete picture of skincare for so many people and self-care, right? Kind of going hand in hand. So thank you so much. Super beautiful. Did anyone, we said it was open to questions throughout, but did anyone want to ask any questions as we start to close out? I want to give everyone an opportunity. We've covered so much ground. Is there any specific skin conditions?
No, I don't. I think a lot of people lie about that. I'm not going to. If I feel like I need sunscreen, which is not all the time, I sit inside in my house working from my kitchen table most of the time because I'm at home with my son breastfeeding right now. This chapter of my life, I barely go outside. During the chapters of my life where I am outside a lot, I'm outside with my animals or I'm on vacation or something like that, I take the Blue Cocoon and I mix it with zinc powder. So I make my own.
Wow.
Not scary. You can get good quality zinc powder a lot of places. And you can mix it and you can make it to your own and mix it fresh. Then you don't have to worry about preserving it or doing any kind of funny business. And you'll find the ratio that works for you. Why are you laughing at me?
I'm laughing because I've been begging for this for ages.
My husband and my 2 children are the whitest people you'll ever see. She is not the only person begging for it. I know it will have to come someday. I know. I'll get there.
That's so interesting. That's like such a sexy way to sunscreen. The Blue
It's
Cocoon
so
is
much
insane.
better. And then you can really adapt it, because there's days where you want protection because you're driving for half an hour on your commute and you know that that one side of your face is getting hit, but that's your sun exposure. You need something for that day. That is different than when you go on vacation in Mexico and you're lying on the beach for 8 days. And so it's nice to be able to adapt and to create your own thing. Not everyone's going to do that. I realize that, and there should be better options out there. There are some here. I don't make one yet, and I don't use it most of the time because of my lifestyle. And when I do, I'm kind of Willy Wonka, so it's an unfair advantage.
Yeah, we've had some dramatic opinions about sunscreen, even in this series, about who uses it and who doesn't. So it's interesting. I think it's different for everybody.
Yeah, it really is. And there's genetics where your risk factors are.
Exactly.
For me, my own body is so sensitive to so many things that I keep it really, really simple, because that's what works for me. My children and my husband are not me. They are super sensitive. And I've seen my husband get blisters from the sun. I've watched it. It's painful. I don't want that for my children. I will make different choices for them. And I hope that there continues to be better and better and better options all the time.
Definitely.
I haven't found my perfect match. That doesn't mean there's not one out there that already exists, that might be in here, or that's coming around the corner. This is such an exciting time of innovation for all of the brands in this space and beyond, where you keep asking for it. It's going to get better and better.
Yeah.
Why am I going to do a sunscreen someday? Because you're telling me that you're going to use one, and I want you to have the best one. I don't know how long it'll take me to come up with the best one, because I am a crazy person and it will have to be the best one. But I do think that it needs to exist. I think that there needs to be that option.
Good question. Anyone else with a specific skincare question or anything specific for May? If not, I want to talk a little bit about what everyone's leaving with tonight. So I know you guys put a really personal touch on the gift that everyone's leaving with tonight. Just want to make sure no one leaves the room without theirs. I actually don't remember exactly what everyone's getting, but I think there's some really special sample sets. Detox Market ladies, do you want to detail the...
There's a beautiful bag with great travels for each of you with May Lindstrom products in there. And also with any purchase of $150, a full-size Jasmine Garden for you to take home.
Amazing.
You're welcome.
All right, cool. Well, I think we should open it up. I'm sure people are going to have questions they want to ask you privately, and everyone can kind of take a look at the different products. I feel like I need to get my hands in some of this stuff. So
And reintroduce yourself. If you've met them before, it's time to say hello again.
definitely. But thank you, everyone. This is going to be on the Chalkboard's Facebook Live too. So if you want to go back and watch it and get any of these tips and the mixtures and stuff down pat, it'll be there. But thank you all for coming. I'll just kind of give a little round of applause.
Thank you. Really, thank you for coming. I'm so grateful.